Unranked heavyweights on the main card. Rogerio de Lima, Pezao, was last time out. Finished a former UFC heavyweight champ. Now he fights down the rankings a little bit against the DR's former Cincinnati Red prospect, Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I'm talking Salsa Boy. And Salsa Boy, already 2-0 in the UFC. A tidy little run he's had. He beat Jared Vanderaa, he beat Chase Sherman, and now he gets to, again, fight up the ranks against Rogerio de Lima. Now I'm going to get Canadian on you for a bit. Maple syrup. It's about a 40-1 ratio of maple sap to then get maple syrup. Birch, Matt, and you handed me this handy prop. I got some birch beer, which you can get in Newfoundland, but apparently it's Scoop and Save in New Brunswick.
Shout out.
Birch beer takes about 120 to 1 ratio to get birch sap to birch syrup. So it's very difficult. But birch syrup, oh, it's a tasty little treat. You can get that from black birch or yellow birch. We have yellow birch here.
Nobody who knows these fighters cares about
But black birch is in certain parts of the States. Why do I say that? Because the heavyweight division is diluted like birch syrup.
Okay.
And we get fights like this.
We could have much easier just said, remember that whole point I made on question mark kicks and really hammered home? Hey, the loser of Usman versus Tafa is going to fall to this thing we just call like the unranked cesspool of heavyweights, where it's like, look at the fighters Cortes-Acosta's just fought. Jared Vanderaa, Chase Sherman. There's just like 10 heavyweights who keep on fighting each other outside of the rankings, and guess what's going to happen to the loser of this fight, Craig? They're going to join that big old pool. So maybe they're having a really fun time down there because it is just the same 11 fighters just sort of cannibalizing each other. None of them get cut because they all just go like 1-1 against each other, so that's positive. It's just, this is a strange fight because for Cortes-Acosta, he was kind of hyped up coming off Contender Series. There were some positives. He has great boxing. He has good hand speed too. He moves well. He's light on his feet. But the problem is, De Lima's one of these guys who is very in sound and in tune with who he is. And that's what I like about Rogerio de Lima. Even at 205 when he couldn't make the weight, and I don't even like saying he fought at 205, he fought at 210 at 205. But for de Lima, does he fight like a different version of himself at any stage of his career?
He fights like a banshee.
He does. He fights like a banshee.
Like he didn't put enough quarters in the parking meter.
I'm pulling on this hook of yours.
Let me pull it in. All right. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, a great boxer. He's a very good boxer in MMA. As a pro boxer, he's 6-4.
I don't think he's
3 wins.
Deontay Wilder tomorrow.
3 wins by knockout, 4 losses by knockout. Andre Ward in Waldo Cortes-Acosta's last boxing match against Sonny Canto, who's 11-0. Andre Ward said, and I quote, "Yeah, Cortes is a very awkward fighter. Former MMA fighter. He doesn't really have a style." Andre Ward.
They said Chris Norat didn't know what he was doing against Huey Fury, so they can get pretty mean sometimes.
We've made a lot of Canadian and New Brunswick specific references in this video. Apologies to the MMA fans in the States, but when I look at a fight like this, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, I mean, even in his LFA title fight that he did have just a few fights ago against Thomas Peterson, struggled with the takedowns. But once he got back up to his feet, he got the knockout win. Against Danilo Suzarci, he wasn't much of a fighter. Cortes-Acosta was a big favorite, knocked him out in that one. Against Jared Vanderaa, really close fight. Jared Vanderaa did a great job with the leg kicks, but Cortes-Acosta did enough with his boxing volume to win it. And then against Chase Sherman forgot what Jared Vanderaa did, forgot what Chase Sherman was good at, and didn't throw leg kicks, and Waldo Cortes-Acosta boxed his ears in.
Chase Sherman, did you think he was going to put on an MMA
when
IQ?
Sherman won fights, his leg kicks were good. But when you look at a fight like this, Rogerio de Lima, is he good at grappling? Yeah. Does he have good takedowns? Yeah. Did he starch Andrei Arlovski's last time out? Yeah. Does he have really overwhelming striking?
Back on the, is he good at grappling?
Striking abilities when he needs to? Yeah, he did against Ben Rothwell. He starched him. But against Blagoy Ivanov, oddly enough, Rogerio de Lima stayed in it as that fight went on, and it was relatively close against a ranked opponent in Ivanov. So when I look at a matchup like this, Matt, can Waldo Cortes-Acosta really threaten with, he likes to go jab to the body, up top, right hand. Can he put together some boxing combinations like that against a guy like de Lima, or does Berserker de Lima run across the cage and get a finish in this one? That really is the question, I guess.
It is. This is my problem with de Lima. Outside of some of those big bursts, I do think he is going to struggle if he isn't able to implement the leg kick effectively in this matchup, because he does throw a lot of these big looping shots from the outside, and if Cortes-Acosta is able to still use his legs during this fight, he can pepper him with counter shots off the back foot. So I think the leg kicks will be an essential component in this for de Lima, but again, it just comes down to how effective is he going to be with the leg kicks and then with the flurries that follow those leg kicks, because I do think Cortes-Acosta is going to have success on the feet throughout this fight. I think he does have the fast faster hands, and I could see him even having the higher volume numbers. Not saying that means anything, because again, if he gets hit by huge shots, it won't matter. But I do think he will have success on the feet. It just comes down to how mobile can he maintain throughout this fight. Because if his mobility starts to decline, and if he becomes more available to be hit by De Lima, like Ben Rothwell went, like a decade without getting knocked out, and he got knocked out by De Lima. So even though De Lima's 37, he still does have incredible power.
And De Lima's record's weird in the UFC. He's 9-6 since he came in off the Ultimate Fighter Brazil Season 3, lost in the semifinals to Shoeface, the PFL champ, so millionaire. But when you look at it for De Lima, 9-6 in the UFC, 5 of those 6 losses are by submission. The other one is the decision of Blagoy Ivanov. 7 of his 9 wins are by finish, and all of those 7 finish wins are in the first round. So De Lima gets it done and gets it done quick. It's just, can Cortes-Acosta follow an Ivanov game plan? And even in that fight, we talked about it with Buday. Ivanov wearing on that gas tank, really putting his body into it, making it boring. Cortes-Acosta doesn't really fight like that. So you look at the odds, De Lima is a slight favorite in the fight. We have a look at the Topology votes. I'm going to let you set them because I don't know where they're going to be, even though De Lima's favored in the fight.
I'll put him at 55% De Lima.
I'm going to say over. Then look at that. See, I didn't know. 566.
You're not used to it, Craig.
576 total votes. 59% Cortes-Acosta, 49% by decision, 45% by knockout. For the 41% that have De Lima, 56% by knockout. So there's some that see a knockout out there. I would think if De Lima's going to win, it's probably by finish. But Cortes-Acosta, probably a sharp look to continue to drag this one into deeper waters.
I have a hard time with this fight. I really do, because I think Cortes-Acosta is going to have success until he doesn't. And that's a hard point to try to figure out in the fight, because if the point's at minute 16, well, we're never going to get to it, right? Cortes-Acosta is just going to win this by decision, and it'll look really good with some of his boxing combinations. But let's say he does start getting, like, dropped by leg kicks to where he's getting hit, he has to pick himself back up. Like, those are going to be effective enough shots for De Lima to where I think he will be able to throw those flurries, but maybe even against my better judgment, I'm going to go with the younger heavyweight between the two. The odds on underdog, but the fans seem to be going with him on Tapology. I'll go with Cortes-Acosta.
It's just like last weekend's main event. You had Pavlovich, the fans had him, but he was the underdog. And if you look at it for Cortes-Acosta, he was a minus 240 favorite his last time out, minus 195 against Vandera. Now all of a sudden he's the underdog. And Cortes-Acosta, what I really, really liked out of his last fight was first round, feeling out process, but the second round, he landed 71 total significant strikes. 147 significant strikes in the fight. And when he's flowing with his boxing, he can just continue to land those volume numbers on the outside. I think power at heavyweight's a great equalizer, so for that reason I have Rogerio de Lima, but I'm really eager to see what the fans have in this one, because the odds and the fans and Topology is just kind of all over the place. Yeah. So let us know down below in the comments section who you have. I mean, listen, the next fight, Cody Brundage, Rodolfo Vieira, a rematch or a rebooking, that's really, really just, it's a lot of fun. So you're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. We always say, let's get into it.